Getting my English teacher fired. I was thinking about posting it on other revenge subreddits, but it didn't really fit there, so I think this one is the best for this story. It also is quite a long story, so sorry for that. So this happened when I was in the 10th grade. The cast: Mr. Awesome, Karen, Marie, Simon. You gotta know this story takes place in Germany. We have 4 kinds of high schools: Gymnasium, Realschule, Hauptschule and Sonderschule. Best to worst from your reputation. Students who were in the Hauptschule would usually only go to the 9th grade, but they can go into the 10th grade if they want an higher education. I was one of those students. Until that year I had the best English teacher. He was kind, cared for his students, would always speak English with us and so on. I loved his lessons. English was my favorite subject until the 10th grade started. He was still my class teacher, but the class got split for English and math. The good students would go into the E course, the bad into the G course. I was terrible at math but quite good in English, so you can guess where I landed. Sadly, Mr. Awesome, my favorite teacher, got to lecture the G course, and Marie and I got into the E course, to Karen. The first day we had her we already got annoyed. She was terrible at English. You think mine is bad? She couldn't even spell words we'd learn in elementary school. I won't even talk about her pronunciation. When she tried to say the it was zay and we hated it. That wasn't that bad though. We were thinking our part and just did our best. But her personality. That was what made us wanting revenge. Every month we'd get our grades. IDK how it is in other countries, but here you get 2 grades. 1 for every test you write. 1 for how much you say and do in classes and how right it was. And when she told me my grade for what I did in classes, I was shocked. I got a 5. You could say that's a E. Marie got a 4 or D. Some other great students got terrible grades too. I'd always get the right answers. Would be done first with everything, and all in all I was a model student. My only competition was Marie, but we both got terrible grades. Simon, another classmate with which we got along with very well, got a 2B, even though he never did anything. He's always been on his phone or he'd be talking with other students. Even he himself said it wasn't fair. We and the other students were complaining to Karen, but she only said, "Stop being such smartasses. I am the teacher and you are the students. If you have problems with that you can always go into the G course." Well, knowing that we couldn't. We needed to be in the better course to get the better graduation. Marie and I went to Mr. Awesome since we knew him very well and he knew that we were great students. So we told him everything. He sighed and scratched his head. "I'm sorry. I know how much this means to you too, but my hands are tied. I think that you're in the right. I really do. But if I'd talk to her, I have the feeling that it could get worse for you. Just do your best," he said, quite sad that he couldn't help us. The next months we'd go along with it until we had our first test. When we got it back I went pale. My first 6F I ever had in English. Marie and the same students that had problems before had bad grades too. It was all digital so you couldn't see it, but we knew that she did something to the tests. We immediately went to the principal, but he didn't believe us. Only Mr. Awesome did, but again, his hands were tied. Finally we had enough. All her victims made a chat and tried to figure a way to get revenge, and we had a plan. She'd often get very aggressive and we knew that. That morning we asked Mr. Awesome to open our class door. Since Karen was late again, we used all the time we had. Simon placed a small cam on the cupboard and turned it on. When Karen came in, everyone sat down and was quiet. She started the class and asked the first question. No one answered. She was confused but went on. No one answered anything, so she got angrier every minute. A few minutes later she yelled at us again. Everyone was looking at her silently and she was going on screaming. When she said we were the worst class ever, the most quietest, shyest and the biggest teacher pet opened her mouth. Maybe if you'd be a better teacher everyone else would be better students. Everyone laughed and agreed. One of the boys screamed, "You," as the clown he was. Karen was livid. She walked up to the quiet kid, my hero, and slammed her ruler on the girl's hand. She immediately started crying, holding her red hand. Karen realized what she did and tried to talk herself out of it while Marie, Simon and I took the cam, comforted the girl and went out with her without saying a single word to Karen. We went to Mr. Awesome first and told him what happened. He comforted the girl as well and went to the principal with us. We showed him everything. You think that's good? It gets better. The drug do. We had a drug problem at our school. Went on Karen. They literally found drugs in her bag. Booze, weed and even the good white powder. She got arrested and she lost all rights to teach. Plus the quiet kid pressed charges and got €300 from her. She gave all of us an ice for this lol. We got a better teacher then. I went from a low-grade student to the class best. Why I tell that story now? Marie and I met Karen today in the city. She was an addict and had a lot of problems back then but is better now. She went to therapy and stopped taking drugs. She's sorry for everything and wished us well when we said goodbye. I like how this story ended. It is good to see a person with problems get help and see the error of their ways. I'm so glad you videoed what was happening! Exclamation mark. Wow. In German class. In college. We didn't even learn about Sonderschule. In any case, US letter grades are A, B, C, D, and F. So when translating, a German 1 is a USA, and a German 5 is, possibly, a USF, at least a D, if 6 is a complete failure. But I don't remember learning about 6s. Either. I don't know what a drug do is. But ice is ice cream. Except your ice skates are all gelato parlors, and now I realize the last time I was in Germany I didn't get a spaghettius. Which makes me angry. But at least I made sure to get doner kebab next time. Hauptschule would usually only go to the 9th grade, but they can go into the 10th grade if they want. And higher education. Just FYI. That was and still is an experimental thing and not very widespread. I went to 10th grade Hauptschule over 10 years ago, and when I applied for adult evening school last year no one, besides the principal, even knew this was a thing. Quiet equals not speaking much. This feels like AR, that happened kind of thing. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. I actually like how this story ended. Good for you for getting rid of her. I'm also German. We had a music teacher who was even worse. Known for unfair treatment, occasionally hitting students. He once threw a chair at a student. Was known to drink. Didn't really teach anything. Just let us listen to some random biography of Mozart, Bach, whatever, audiobooks. Multiple times for each. At some point he was totally out of his mind, preaching about some wine festival and thunderstorms. But since he was Verbeamtet, basically an official state employee, basically not fireable, they couldn't get rid of him. They offered him to retire early, but he loved the job too much. And everybody clapped. This smells like bullshit. Especially when it centers around video evidence. Evidence that could be linked to enhance the story.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.